Hi, my name is Aurelia from CHANDRA, but you can call me Aurel. I'm from Jakarta and I'm in my final year at SIM-UOL, majoring in international relations.
Okay. Would you mind telling us about your education prior to attending SIM?
So before joining SIM, I obtained my high school diploma at UPH College in Tangerang.
Okay. And why did you choose to study at SIM-UOL?
I think it's because of the module that they offer, especially international relation module. As I know that a lot of university in Singapore doesn't offer international relation, they only offer political science only. So only like SIM UOL provide international relation because I really want to focus on international relation itself rather than political science. And also like SIM UOL have a great partnership with LSE, London School of Economic, and I already did my research on LSE itself. They have a very well-known international relation module.
Cool. Okay. So which organizations or institutions are you working with at the moment?
So right now, I'm the core project director of Ingat Indonesia and also the director of marketing and communication at CHANDRA SIM.
And how do you approach challenges in your projects or tasks like during your time working with these organizations?
Actually, it depends on how I approach it because different like challenges requires different like approaches. But for me, I usually do is like step back first. I need to see the root cause of the challenges that I'm facing. Then after that, I assess it like slowly and dividing it into smaller pieces. So it's much easier for me to actually tackle it down, and it's much easier for me as like mentally so that I don't feel overwhelmed by it.
And what are some memorable projects that you've contributed to?
So I think two projects from the two organizations is probably first Ingat Indonesia at Universitas Terbuka for digital literacy. I think it's like last month we have this workshop regarding digital literacy to empower the students in Universitas Terbuka in Singapore. Maybe I give like a short context about Universitas Terbuka in Singapore. So they mainly are Indonesian migrant who works here, and they're obtaining their degree in Universitas Terbuka. So we help them by giving workshops such as digital literacy, as we know that a lot of like Indonesian migrant doesn't have a quite like privilege like us in having like digital literacy. So we aim to provide them and help them academically and also professionally in digital literacy. And the second one is in Career Champs, which is International Student Career Forum, which basically is a forum for international students alumni from SIM. So they came in SIM to share a story, share their experience on their career. I think they have 4 this year. It's related to marketing, business, IT, and also consultancy. So in this forum, they talk about their perspective on their jobs and also show some insight about how to get a job in Singapore, because as we know, like international students here is very hard to get a job. So they actually provide us with insight like how do we need to prepare, how can we stand out in interviews, and how can we use our weaknesses to be like like the strengths in job hunting.
Okay, so it's very clear that you've joined like a lot of organizational activities and handled a lot of projects. How do you mostly like foster collaboration in a team setting?
I think for fostering a good collaborative team is that balancing between like understanding and also like being firm at the same time, because I think as a leader myself, being understanding to the team members is very essential, because if we don't understand them, it's very hard to communicate with them. But at the same time, we need to be firm because we have goals and timelines, and everybody needs to be accountable at it. But also at the same time, we need to enjoy our process, because enjoying the process is very important, because no matter how hard the job is, how hard the project is, if you enjoy the company of the team I think eventually it becomes much easier, and the team will eventually just make a better project because you're like enjoying yourself in it.
Okay, so now let's zoom in a little bit. From working with the SIM Career Champs, what advice would you offer to students who are looking forward to finding internships while in university?
During your first year or second year, you can join a lot of CCAs. But for me, I personally recommend to join Career Champs, especially if you're first year or second year, because like Career Champs itself really helps you in job hunting and also internship hunting. We also like have a event regarding like virtual internship. So it really helps for international students like us to actually know about like the stuff that we want to do. And we also help with Career Connect. So we have career fairs like Dreams and Ignite. We usually help them, and we help them in the employee side. So when employee came to SIM, we usually escort them to the booth, and that time is very nice because at the time you can interact with the employee. Sometimes if you know like certain employees or certain like companies that you want to work in Singapore, it's very nice because you can have the first chance to talk to them before anyone else. And I think it's a great impression, especially you talking to a recruiter. So you create a very impactful impression to them. People will notice you, and they will remember you. And eventually, sometimes those recruiter actually reach out to you and ask your LinkedIn or ask for a small interview like chit chat, and by that you can secure like internship or like job hunting. And also like Career Champs offer like a training session for like interviews and CVs and everything. So we do like a lot of training regarding to like how to stand out in a competitive job market, how to assess our strengths and weaknesses. And usually it's important because like when we do an interview, we need to know our strengths and weaknesses, and by those training sessions we actually notice more about ourselves.
And as the Marketing and Communication Director for the SIM Career Champs, what methods did you implement to be able to increase the engagement and awareness of the program to the public?
I think I use two types, which is digital and traditional marketing. So for digital, I think we already knew like social media marketing. So I do use a lot like social media campaign like Instagram post, story, and also like reach out to other CCAs to help us because CCA in SIM is actually very, very supportive with one another. So they actually like repost our CCAs, and we did the same thing to the CCA too. But not just that, I feel like mouth-to-mouth like advertising, so interacting with people during networking session or just casually, maybe like, because like I said before, like Career Champs does have a lot of training session. We usually do a lot of like networking in there, and we spread out like our information and our events through that. For the traditional marketing strategy, as Career Champs is under Career Connect, we do put a lot of our poster in front of Career Connect office. So I don't think they have it now right now because we don't have any events right now, but I think like during September usually they have it in front of the Career Connect or TV around SIM. So like TV in the lift, I think lift block A, block B, usually they have it. So we use that, and also flyer. We use like those type of marketing strategies.
As a co-project director for a student-led organization in Indonesia, what leadership skills do you exercise to ensure that your role as a mentor and a leader is carried out effectively?
I think three things I do is like active listening, clear communication, and also empathy towards my team members. So the first one is about active listening, because I think it's very important in a team where you need to listen to everyone about their ideas, their concern, and feedback. This helped me understand their perspective and address issue early on and make like informed decision that benefited the team and the project itself. Active listening also promotes a very culture of respect and also trust within the team. Then clear communication. I feel like clear communication is very like common in the sense that I think everyone agree that in a group you need a communication. If there's no communication, it leads to misunderstanding. I think that's one thing that as a leader, that we need to have like a clear communication so that there's no misunderstanding between the team, the projects, the stakeholder, and everything. Lastly, empathetic. Basically, we need to be empathetic towards our team member because every person deals with different things. As a leader, we need to understand what they're dealing. As a student, we know we have a lot of projects, we have a lot of school assignments. So, in the sense that I need to be empathetic to them, that sometimes they are burnout. So, it may take things a bit slow when doing our project, and it's okay because mental health is very important. And especially like Ingat is important, but school is also important. Your mental health being is also important. So I need to be like empathetic to them.
In which ways has your role as a leader made improvements to Ingat Indonesia's performance as a non-profit organization?
As a leader at Ingat Indonesia, while the organization is quite new, I think instead of like improvements, it's more a milestone that we already achieved. One of our key milestone is the project with Universitas Terbuka, which is our first ever stakeholder and also our first ever project. And I think during that time, I do a lot of proposal, contacting with stakeholders, and also distributing tasks to our volunteers and also our EXCO member too. So, while it's not like dramatic like improvement, as I say, it's very new, but I feel like those key achievement really stood out the most. Yeah.
And how do you manage your time between organizational work and studying at the same time?
I think I use Google Calendar a lot, but at the same time, I try to do things like on the spot. So if someone needs help, I usually just do it on the spot. But I usually use Google Calendar, so I gather all the deadlines and I just spread it all out. And usually I do like my works like 6 to 7 hours for each organization, like 6 to 7 hours for Courage Champs and 6 to 7 hours for Ingat Indonesia. But I will consider myself a workaholic, so sometimes a bit like I just do it everything. So even like 6 to 7 hours, maybe more.
And what inspired you to choose these experiences that you have chosen?
I think it's mainly my friend and the community, like the Indonesian community. My friend really pushed me a lot in stepping out of my comfort zone. I think they really show like, oh, you need to be yourself. Like you need to do things. You need to, make an impact in your life. And I feel like the community also like provided it for me. Like as I said before, the project that Ingat Indonesia does, like the Indonesian migrant worker in Singapore. And I feel like as a student in Singapore, I feel that we have a lot of privilege. We came here in Singapore, we just study, but the migrant workers came here to work and plus studying. So in the sense that I really want to help them to actually achieve more, not just academically but professionally through Ingat Indonesia.
So I understand that you're an IR major, whereas the roles that you've taken for your organizational commitments are mostly related to communication and marketing. So how have your experiences contributed to your studies and vice versa?
As an international student, I've developed like a lot of like a strong attention to detail and also critical thinking when creating like communication and also marketing, like idioms and stuff. I need to be more careful and need to be precise, as same as like my module. What I learned is that I need to be very precise and I need to very detail oriented person, because like different words means different things. So what reflected to my work is that I need to make a precise wordings that people will understand like what we mean, because like one word makes a difference. I think during Career Champs, we like as the International Career Forum, I put a lot of like communication like towards the students verbally and also social media. And being detail oriented means that I can make like a content that's engaging and also culturally sensitive.
So looking from all the activities and tasks that you've participated in, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Do you think you'll still be doing the same things, or would you like to explore other paths?
In 5 years, I think I see myself gaining experience in the field of communication and public relation before I transition into a role that more directly into international relation. As I know, international relation, like graduate doesn't really have an opportunity to work like professionally, like in the specific field. So what I want to do is like I want to do communication and public relations for maybe like 2 to 3 years. Then I transition to something related to international relations, job prospect. I think they have a lot of like international relations sectors, like diplomacy and stuff. Actually needs like PR and communication. But in order to achieve that, I need to have like more experience. So by that, I want to do like the communication public relations first.
And what advice would you like to give for Indonesian students who have just moved to Singapore and would like to be more involved in organizations?
I think for the students who just came here, I think you need to be more involved in organization. I think it's one thing that I regret during my first and second year, that I didn't really do much in like organization. So it's very hard for me to actually getting a like direct like marketing communication and stuff. It's very hard for me because I didn't have any prior organizations. But so yeah, I think you need to have it first. But the most important part is that you need to find a community that aligns with your interests and values, and being involved that resonates with your vision and mission. I think that's the most important part, because if you just came to like some organization and you didn't enjoy it, it's just wasting your time because it doesn't align with your vision and mission. And don't be afraid applying like new organization. I feel like that's also my mistake. I feel so scared. I feel like, what if I was judged and everything because I didn't have any skills that maybe that good. But at the end, it's just like, yeah, I just do it. Nothing to be afraid of. I think SIM itself is very welcoming. So I think you shouldn't be afraid.
And anything else that you'd like to say before we end this interview?
I would say like embrace every opportunity that was given to you. Just take it, just do it. Then anything else, just go through it. Because I think there's nothing bad if you say yes. Just enjoy the moment.
Thank you so much for coming here and answering the questions. Okay.
Thank you.